losing all my innocence, yeah, body on my, finding all my innocence, yeah, body on my.
Welcome everyone to this week's episode of Unrooted Golf Edition, and my guest for this week's show is none other than sophomore golfer on the men's golf team here at Menlo College, Tom Field. Tom, thanks so much for joining me on the show.
Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Let's start by talking a little bit about yourself. Now, Coach Givens told me that you are a very big cricket and rugby guy, and I know nothing about either of those two sports, so you're here to enlighten me. First of all, did you ever play either of them growing up?
Yeah, so growing up, the school I went to, it had a very big athletic focus. So from about the age of 11, you start playing rugby, hockey and cricket. So for different seasons throughout the year, you play rugby from September to Christmas, hockey after Christmas, and then cricket in the summer. And you'd have training like 3 days a week, matches on weekends, and it's quite high standard.
Wow, did you enjoy playing all three?
I enjoyed rugby and hockey the most. Cricket, it lasts a long time. In summer days, you're out there, you can be 5-6 hours, and it can be a bit tiring.
Yeah. I want to ask now specifically about rugby and hockey because you're not built like a rugby or a hockey player. So how are you able to survive for so long?
So hockey you don't have to be particularly big at all, so that was never really a problem. Rugby, when I first started it, I was more the same size as everyone else. Mm-hmm. I stopped growing around age 16. So by the time I was 18, everyone was like 6'4" and I was still 5'10". So that made it a bit more difficult.
Yeah.
But in rugby, there's like two different positions. You have the backs and the forwards. So the forwards tend to do the running, and then the backs are the big guys in the scrum. So I was always the guy on the wing who would just try and leg it and try and get away from everyone.
I was going to say, you're definitely a runner, and when it comes to hockey, you were probably not someone who's going to lay a shoulder and try to slam someone into the boards, right?
No, I'm not big enough for that sort of stuff.
No, absolutely not. Now, as one of the many golfers on this team from outside of the United States, what went into your decision to taking your golf talents over here to California? So
my decision it was quite different to other people because I never actually planned to come out here. I actually had a place at English University. So I was meant to go there, and then the opportunity to move to Spain presented itself. So I went out there with the intention of maybe turning professional and seeing how it went. But I played in a golf academy there. So I was training 5-6 days a week and playing tournaments on weekends. And after the first initial year, I planned to go home and go back to university, and it just didn't happen. So I ended up staying 2 years in Spain. And I guess about halfway through the second year, the opportunity to come to America sort of presented itself. So I came out to visit. I went to North Carolina, Texas, and California, and obviously ended up here.
And California, so far, it seems like it's been the right choice for you, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I'd definitely say so.
Yeah, your scores have been taking off here the last few weeks. Now let's talk a little bit about the team here. The Oaks have been in both tournaments and matches over the last couple of weeks. What do you find more challenging as a golfer, tournaments or matches?
So, they're similar. In the matches, we're only playing one other team, and it's only 18 holes. And the tournaments, it's normally 54 holes. So it's 10 hours of golf for the first day and 5 hours the second day. So the tournaments are a lot longer and a lot more, I guess, mentally draining. But what's weird, all of us have played better in the tournaments rather than the matches.
Yeah.
So it kind of contradicts itself a bit. So the matches are meant to be easier, but we seem to do better in the tournaments.
Yeah. Do you think that maybe there's a little bit of pressure that sets in knowing you only have one round and you can't go back for the next 18 holes to make adjustments because you're going through it just one time?
Yeah, I guess, because if you don't do great in a tournament the first round, you have another 36 holes to recover. So I guess it's a bit more pressure, but I don't know.
It's just one of those things where you really have no idea how to explain it.
Yeah, pretty much. I personally prefer the tournaments over the matches, but the matches are also good fun to do.
Absolutely. Now, the most recent tournament was down in Indio, and the Oaks finished in 6th place overall, and in a tie with two other schools from the Golden State Athletic Conference. Is there ever any extra motivation to finish above the other teams in the conference?
Yeah, obviously when we're playing a tournament, you're trying to beat everyone. But when you're looking at the leaderboards and you see the other schools in our conference, then there's obviously that extra bit of motivation to beat them. Because like after the first round in India, we were behind the Masters and William Jessup.
Yeah.
And we managed to have a bit of a better second day and come back and end up tying them.
Yeah.
So that was quite nice to do.
And as we talked a little bit off the air, you guys are a very close team. You have very strong camaraderie. Does that help you guys push each other every single week, like Coach Givens told me a couple weeks ago on the show?
Yeah, because if you lose, you're going to hear about it for the rest of the week. But it's a weird dynamic for college golf, because in practice you're trying to beat each other. In qualifying, you want to beat each other as well. But in tournaments, you want everyone to do well because you're playing on a team. So the mindset, it kind of flips. So coming from playing individual golf from where I used to live to college golf, it was definitely a big transition.
Yeah, certainly a situation where if maybe you're going to be at par 72, but you got a teammate who's shooting 2 under, he's at 70, you're happy for your teammate. You don't care that he's beating you by 2 strokes. You're glad that he's beating you by 2 strokes.
You're happy for him, but you still want to get a bit ahead.
Oh, of course you do. That's why you hope to take it out in the next couple of rounds.
Yeah.
Now, the Oaks are inactive until the GSAC Championships, which are set to take place in the middle of April. What are you expecting during the tournament from the course, but also from your guys as a team?
So the course is at Catavedera. I've never played there before, but I've seen it online. And it looks fairly similar to what we played this semester. It's not especially long, it's quite tight, it's tree lined, so it's quite similar to what I'm used to playing. So expectations of the course, it should be similar to what we're used to, so I'm quite happy with that. In terms of team expectations, we want to win.
Yeah.
We've been close a couple of times last semester, and we didn't quite get it done. So for the final event of the year, this is where we want to get it.
Go out with a bang, right?
Exactly.
No other way to finish it up. All right, Tom, let's get into the final segment of the show. It's called Brownie Bites. I'm going to ask you 3 off-the-wall questions. Give me your best answers.
Okay.
Question number 1, which teammate would make the worst cricket player?
I'd say just any of the American guys on the team, because obviously you don't have cricket, you have baseball, and the technique, even though the concept's similar, it's very, very different. So the batting is a very different style. If you went with a baseball approach to cricket, you're going to straight up miss the ball. Yeah. And I don't know if you've seen a cricket ball before, but they are literally like a rock. So you need a special technique to catching it. So if you weren't familiar and went to just catch it straight up, you could break a finger quite easily.
Yeah.
It's not nice.
I have never tried to play actual cricket before, but back when I was in high school, one time for PE, we went out and played what we called cricket, but really it wasn't cricket because we were using a tennis ball.
You can absolutely send it with a tennis ball.
Oh, of course you can. Of course you can. If that ball gets in the air and it just keeps on going, you're running back and forth for days, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Question number 2, which teammate would feature the best handoff in rugby? I know none of the guys really would probably be good at rugby, but who could maybe do the best handoff?
The best handoff, I'd probably say one of the twins, because they're tall guys, they have the longest arms, so they have the better chance of just getting someone in the face and pushing them down.
That's a good point. Maybe not the biggest and bulkiest guys, but if you get that arm out there,
they got a long wingspan, so they can just send someone away probably.
Yeah, certainly not the Tom Field specialty though, right?
Oh, no one's got that.
What is your specialty? Just the speed, the quickness?
I'm quite good at dodging, so I can. It's kind of hard to say. So you confuse someone. So you look like you're going to pass one way and then you just run the other way and someone ends up trying to dive for you and they just miss you completely. So I was always quite good at that. Oh
yeah, and in American football we'd call that the old pump fake from the quarterback. Make them think you're going one way and then throw it the other way.
Yeah, similar to that I'd say.
All right, we now know inside what makes Tom Field so successful at rugby. And question number 3, which teammate would be most likely to live in a castle?
In a castle, I would say Anders.
Really?
So he's kind of a guy who enjoys his own company and he's in his own world a little bit of the time. So yeah, I'd have to go with him.
So he's kind of going to be isolated in this castle. Not going to be a whole lot else going on?
Not a whole lot else going on, I'd say.
No wild castle parties or something that he's going to throw?
I'd hope so, but you never know with him.
I'm sure you'd get the invite though.
We'll see.
Tom, thanks so much for joining me on the show. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Folks, the golf team, nothing going on this weekend. The women's golf team will be in action early next week on Monday and Tuesday, and then both teams in action at the GSAC Championships set for the middle of April. That at Catavadera up in Lincoln. You're going to follow along with all the action live on menloathletics.com. We invite you to tune into the next episode of Unrooted Golf Edition. Tom Field will select the next interviewee by me, Brian Brownfield, right here on the show. Until then, we'll see you next time. Take care, everyone.